Honestly, this topic may take the full duration of the show, and I apologize to you all watching. But Ari, if you have $100 that you must place a wager on, who is going to be named WNBA Rookie of the Year right now? Give me your snap judgment. No reason why. Who you going
Paige Beckers.
with?
Easy.
Well, I'm a DC guy, so I may have to say Kiki Iriafen, but I also believe in Kiki Iriafen and how quickly she has shown she can dominate in this league. I'll let you go first, though. So make the case why and what are we looking at? Not 5 months, 4 months from now, are we looking at Paige Beckers being Rookie of the Year?
Yes, if she's able to stay healthy, and not miss any more games and continue to put up the numbers that she has, she doesn't necessarily have to be the team leader, continue to be the team leader in sports. But I do expect, or it would be good if she was still leading in assists. That would show that she's being a really good facilitator and, really getting into her role as a point guard. So that's pretty much my main case when it comes to her, just the consistency, making sure she stays healthy and based off of popularity alone, sometimes that does help you, get that rookie of the year. But also at the same time, you don't necessarily have to be the very best player on your team.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting dynamic because obviously Paige is having Arike Ogunbowale be there alongside her in the backcourt, and honestly maybe stealing touches from Paige in a way that if we look at recent rookies that have won this award and thinking of Ryan Howard from 2 years ago or 3 years ago at this point, Aaliyah Boston,
Hmm.
Caitlin Clark, they were kind of the focal point of their team. And we're in a situation this year where Paige isn't going to be the focal point, and even to an extent, Kiki in DC is not going to be a focal point. But I'm gonna make the case now for Kiki, and I'm gonna read off some stats. We're only 11 games in of this recording, so some of these stats may have changed by the time you all are listening to this. But Paige is obviously leading in points. Kiki is in a very solid second place, 13.8 points per game. Kiki is also second amongst all rookies in terms of field goal percentage, with a minimum of 5 field goal attempts per game, shooting over 50%, which is great, especially considering Kiki is not a below the rim player. She actually kind of spreads it out from the hoop a little bit. She's first in rebounds, and of course, she has four double doubles, a number that I assume will just grow and grow as the season goes on. But the number one thing for me that if I were making a case, if I were standing in front of a judge and I was presenting it to the judge and the jury, I would look at the per 36 numbers. And right now, Kiki is outperforming Paige across some of the key metrics, including points per game. Of course, rebounds and assists, they're different players in different roles, so it's going to mean different things. But her per 36 numbers are 18.8 points, 12.6 rebounds. Again, Kiki is in a crowded post room here in DC. So there are other players that have to get minutes, whereas Paige, she's already being thrown into the fire. She's playing 30 plus minutes each night. Ari, I'm going to give you a chance to rebuke me a little bit, but for me, it's like I'm convincing myself even further why Kiki should be the Rookie of the Year.
You do make some very, very valid points, but still, I'm betting $100 on Paige, and I'm going in front of that same judge and say, hey, Becker's is the one to go with. It's not necessarily always about stats either. Even if Paige was to drop out a little bit and you have Kiki ahead of her with the per 36, the popularity, everything that she brings to Dallas, I've never seen the fan base like this in Dallas before since covering the Wings. And that, could have a really, really good influence as well. Like you said, she has Arike beside of her and she's still in touches and she's leading this offense. So I really think that's where she has that edge over Kiki.
You bring that up, and there's a lot of layers that go into WNBA voting at the end of the season. As a former voter myself, I know that there's a lot of things being weighed, and there's really no explicit criteria for what each award means. So, what Rookie of the Year means for you could mean differently for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think, and again, this is going to come down to each individual voter, is that there's going to be a lot of it's going to come down to expectations, is kind of what I think. Is Paige was a player that we all expected to be great, expected to be a flawless transition into the league. Whereas Kiki, I know entering around this time last year, Kiki was probably the number two prospect in this class. And then through a year at USC and Juju Watkins kind of went down a little bit before she was picked at four. And no one expected her to come in and be a post player and be banging elbows against Brittany Griner and doing things against who else have they played so far? Alyssa Thomas and those type of players and succeeding at it. So I think if you look at expectations, that could be a factor at the end of the year. I also think end of season results may play a factor in it. You
Mm.
mentioned Dallas's record so far. If Kiki pound for pound is doing the same thing that Paige is doing, but the Mystics may backdoor themselves into the playoffs, that could be a whole different discussion. But either way, I think we both can agree this is probably going to be the closest rookie of the year vote, assuming everybody stays healthy. Going to be the closest rookie of the year voting since probably 2015 when it was Drew Lloyd and Kia Stokes that went down to 5 votes.
Okay, yeah, for me, like I feel like the close one was between Alicia Gray and Brittany Sykes.
Yeah.
That one was pretty close as well, went down to the wire. But yeah, most definitely it is going to come down to that. And the team record could very much have some influence on it. But going back to previous rookie of the year, I mean, when Aaliyah Boston won it, Indiana didn't make the playoffs. Of course, they didn't start off like this, but you know, I don't think that'll necessarily be the determining factor that will kind of get her keep Paige from getting over the hunt and taking it over Kiki.